morning to another presenter. Today I am going to present about adenoid cystic carcinoma, a case report. Next. Introduction. Adenoid cystic carcinoma is a malignant neoplasm that affects the major or minor salivary glands of the oral cavity. It accounts for less than 1% of all adenic malignancies and about 4 to 10% of all salivary gland tumors. However, it is the commonest malignant of minor salivary glands. Next. So this is 36-year-old female patient came to the oral and maxillofacial department with the swelling in the right upper jaw for the past 1 month, and the swelling was slowly progressive in nature and attained the present size, so it gradually increased in size and attained the present size. And she has no past surgical or medical history, and a dental history suggests is uneventful extraction before 20 years. Next. On clinical examination, extraorally, face is apparently symmetrical, paresthesia in the right nasolabial region, TMJ movements are normal, the lymph nodes were not palpable. Next. On intraoral examination, mouth opening is normal, and oval-shaped swelling present on the right side of the palate along with the extension towards the right buccal vestibule about 4 by 4 cm. There are with tenderness on palpation. Next. This is the 4 by 4 cm swelling. Anteriorly it extends from the 1-3 region, posteriorly up to the amla notch. Medially it extends, it crosses the mid-palatal suture, and laterally it extends up to the buccal vestibule. You can see here the buccal vestibule is obliterated. Next. The provisional diagnosis is minor salivary gland malignancy, and the differential diagnosis is pleomorphic adenoma, mucoepidermoid carcinoma, and adenoid cystic carcinoma. The investigation or the routine blood investigations are normal, and the COVID report is negative. OPG, CECT, and incisional biopsy are taken. Next. On the OPG, we can see there is a radiolucency present in the right maxilla with the resorption of roots seen in the 1-7 and 1-5 region, and the maxillary sinus is obliterated and it extends up to the palatal region, and involvement of periosteum is seen. Next. This is the contrast emission computed tomography. In the axial view, we can see the tumor present here, and it extends anteriorly, anterolateral wall of the maxillary sinus, and medially it extends up to the left medial wall of the left maxillary sinus, and laterally it extends up to the posterolateral wall of the maxillary sinus, and posteriorly it extends up to the pterygoid plate. And in the coronal view, we can see the infraorbital wall is intact, and we can see the inferiorly it extends up to the dentoalveolar region is involved, and the buccal vestibule is involved, and in the medially we can see it extends up to the medial wall of the left maxillary sinus. Next. This is the incisional biopsy taken. Next. So on the incisional biopsy reports suggest it is the adenoid cystic carcinoma. Next. So according to TNM staging, T4A, N0, M0. The T4A is the tumor involves the adjacent structures such as cortical bone of maxilla or maxillary sinus. There is no lymph node involvement or no metastasis present. Next. The final diagnosis is made based on this investigation. It is adenoid cystic carcinoma of the right maxilla, minor salivary gland from the hard palate. The treatment plan we suggest is the subtotal maxillectomy under general anesthesia. Next. So the incision is made as a Weber-Ferguson approach. That is, it extends 1 cm from the lateral to the lateral canthus, and 3 mm below the lower eyelid, and it runs along the nasomaxillary groove, curves along the alar region, and it divides the ipsilaterally the upper lip, upper fulcrum of the lip. Next. So the maxillectomy classification is based on Brown's classification. It is class 2B. The class 2 suggests the low maxillectomy, that is not including the orbital floral contents but including the dentoalveolar region will be removed, and the B suggests it crosses the midline. The resection crosses the midline, vertical and horizontal component. Next. So the surgical picture of this, the incision is marked. Next. So the tumor is exposed, and this is the tumor resected site. Next. The resected tumor. Next. And it is sutured, and the obturator is placed. Next. And it is the post-op picture after 1 week, extraorally and intraorally. Next. The post-op after 3 weeks, extraoral, intraoral, the healing is present. You can see it clearly in this picture. Next. So the discussion. So the incisional biopsy report suggests histopathologically it has the cribriform appearance, and it has the presence of the focal areas of the squamous metaplasia and clear cell changes and evidence of infiltration around the nerve sheath. So it is likely to be have the high grade transformation. Next. Based on the histopathological grading, the ACC is graded as grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Grade 1 is combination of cribriform and tubular, grade 2 is tubular, solid and cribriform, and grade 3 is only the solid pattern. In this case, the cribriform pattern is present, so it is classified as grade 1. Next. So the metastasis is possibly to occur in lungs, liver, brain, perineural invasion, skin metastasis, aversion canals of bone, skin, and lymph node metastasis is rare. Next. So this is an article, adenoid cystic carcinoma of the palate with isolated cutaneous metastasis. Here there is a 36-year-old female came to the department. In this article, they came to the department with a swelling in the arc palate, and it is diagnosed as adenoid cystic carcinoma. And it is diagnosed as adenoid cystic carcinoma, and the surgical department has decided to do skull maxillectomy and skull resection. After 1 year, the patient came to the department and there is cutaneous metastasis. Next. Cutaneous metastasis after 1 year of skull resection and maxillectomy, and though there is no other metastasis, only cutaneous metastasis. After that, the crew has suggested to do metastectomy and post-operative radiotherapy. Though they have done these things, the patient have low survival rate. Next. So the choice of treatment is based on the grading of the tumor. It is curative and palliative. For grade 1 and 2, we can do curative treatment, that is surgical resection plus post-operative radiotherapy. For grade 3, we should do only palliative, that is because it is unresectable, that is radiotherapy only. The role of chemotherapy for adenoid cystic carcinoma is controversial. Next. So the post-operative radiotherapy indications are perineural invasion, lymphatic or carotid metastasis, recurrent lesions, bone invasion, extracapsular split, unfavorable histologies, and large tumors that is greater than 4 cm. Next. The recurrence in ACC is more commonly perineural invasion, and if the lesion is extensive, that is positive margins are present, there will be recurrence. The lymphatic pit, which is rare in adenoid cystic carcinoma. Next. The survival rate. The 5-year survival rate for adenoid cystic carcinoma is 80%, and the 15-year survival rate for adenoid cystic carcinoma is only 30 to 40%, and it also based on grading, metastasis, and local recurrence. The follow-up should be at least 10 to 15 years. Next. So conclusion, adenoid cystic carcinoma is a rare salivary gland malignancy. It displays a unique histopathological features and its tendency towards the perineural invasion. Careful assessment of tumor grading, perineural invasion, and clinical margin status continue to be important criteria for prognosis. Prolonged follow-up is very essential, and management of delayed complication or metastasis. To maximize the survival of patients with adenoid cystic carcinoma, perseverance and diligence are essential. Next. These are my references.